you all could join us today. We're going to get started here. We're going to have some fun. We have some amazing co-hosts today, and we have a wonderful guest. I'm so excited. So before I get too excited, let's get into our intro, and then we're going to bring in our guest and our co-host, okay? Here we go.
This your man down, Tony producer. What you say now? And the line dance connection. What you say now? Tap performer. And my girl Qween Sheila. What you say now? Come on, get busy. Hey. It's the line dance connection. It's the line dance connection. Yeah, it's the line dance connection. Come on. Let's work. It's the line dance connection. Hey. Come on. Hey. All right, y'all. What you say now? We about to get live right here. Are y'all ready? What you say now? Let's get big.
All right. We just had our intro. I hope everybody's doing good out there in Let's Talk Soul Line Dance Land. We're so glad to be with you today again. I'm going to bring in my co-host, and we're going to take it from there. We're just going to have some fun today and let our hair down, maybe even give away some money, depending on how we feel. Okay? So I'm going to let my first co-host in, Miss Sandra Hill Coaston, all the way from Montgomery, Alabama. What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good, girl. I'm good.
Awesome. Is that,
and you?
I see sun out there?
Yes, girl. We got sun. It's sunny Florida, girl. You know.
I see that sun coming through your window.
Yes, indeed. Lots of it. Yeah, we're going to bring in our co-host real quick so he can holler with us, okay? Marquise Christopher, all the way from Gibsonton, Florida. What's up, Keith?
How y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Good.
Awesome.
I know you're right down the way in Florida. You know, how's the weather down there? Right around the corner, yeah.
Now, you know how it is, because, 1 minute it can rain on one side of the Tampa and it'll be dry on the other side. So that's a legitimate question. But it's sunny over here too.
Good. So it's sunny in Alabama. It's sunny all over Florida. So now we're going to bring in our awesome guest today. Her name is Nichol Poyntz, all the way from, let me see, where you from, Nicole?
Detroit, Motown.
Detroit in the house. All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. We're so glad to have you. So how's the weather in Detroit today?
Today is a good day. It's in the 90s today. We have been experiencing some very unusual rain and flooding and not so great situations in people's homes. But today is a good day. It's in the 90s.
Yeah. All right. Good. We see 90 so much, we think that's normal. You outside in the sun. Okay. I'm telling you, it's nice, For real. So we're going to get started here. We're going to get started with, first of all, Nicole, we just want you to tell us something about you, because we want the world to know who Miss Nichol Poyntz is.
Okay. Well, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, born and raised. That's where I currently reside as well. Not married, no kids, but I'll say I have a partner. We've been together for a very long time. Very happy, very loving, and he and I, people call him Mr. D, but his name is Daryl. So the two of us are doing this thing together called life. I work at Ford Motor Company here in HR, Human Resources. Let's see. I actually have roots in Florida. I actually went to undergrad at Florida A&M, and I went to graduate school. And I went to graduate school at Florida State. So all of my higher education was done in the state of Florida. So I can say I was a resident for about 6 years in Florida. And actually, my parents live not far. They don't live very far from Marquis. I know I had an opportunity to join this class when I was visiting them. So yeah.
Cool. So they live in Tampa or in the Tampa
They live in Valrico.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's real close. Yeah, real close to Marquis. Now I'm all the way at the other end. I'm all the way north, like 50 miles. Well, more than that from that area, from Gibsonton to Valrico, maybe about 60 miles north, and that's how far I come. 50 miles to teach class. You know, you got to love it when you do that. You know.
No, definitely.
Yeah. Tell us the name of your class. Or your team?
So I have a few teams that I rep. So it's gonna be a funny answer. But Motown Hustlers is the name of the class that Lewis Jenkins and myself and Renisha Lindsay, who no longer really dances, we used to call ourselves L&R. We have a couple of dances called L&R. We actually started the class. We picked it up from one of our veterans here in the city, Alice. She had retired and turned it over to us in 2008. So we changed the name of the class to Motown Hustler. So it's not necessarily a group, but it's what we call, or what our local people call, the biggest gang in the city, because essentially in order to be Motown Hustlers, all you got to do is come to class.
Okay.
But a couple of other groups per se that I'm affiliated with is Mo Brown Park, of course. Mo being the Motown, Ground being Common Ground, and Park being Parkside. So myself, Ali James, and Christopher Blues. We call ourselves Mo Brown Park, but that's really just, you know, like family, brother and the one sister in the team. But I am also a member of Dance Nation. It's a new group that was started about 3 years ago with myself, Curtis Good, Yvonne Brown, Bridget Good, and Pam Douglas. Okay,
so it's good to hear you say that people, that you are able to co-mingle or co-teach with other backslashes. Well, how you're able to teach with other people in your area. Sakaya Lumpkin has tuned in. Hi, Sakaya. She said, "Oh,
let's see. Hey, Kia."
Yeah. So we are glad to hear that you can co-mingle with other instructors and have a class and still have a good time. Yes.
Hey, let us, me and Zandra, we'll mute ourselves until we have a question. So if she getting feedback from one of us, we're going to interrupt her.
Okay. Okay. Good. Can you hear me, Nicole? Okay. I don't know where the feedback is coming from somewhere. I thought it was me. That's why I was turning everything down. But so with your classes, tell me, do you have like a beginner's class, intermediate, advanced, or do you have a class where they're all in one?
So we just have one class. It's all in one. But what we do is strategically try to teach dances that kind of garner the spectrum, if you will. Prior to COVID, we were actually in one of our club settings. And so in that setting, you're going to have your group of, or your mix of non-traditional line dancers with those heavy core line dancers that travel with us. And so therefore we try to integrate the two. So we'll do a couple of beginner that are really beginner. I know there's my beginner may not beginner, but they're really beginner for those that are just really at the club, you know what I'm saying? And they're not hardcore dancers, but we also do challenge them with intermediate and advanced dancing. So if you look on our class shirts, one of our mottos is, if you don't get it this week, come back next week.
Oh, okay. That's a good one. That's really good. I like that, because you have to tell them, yeah, come back. If you don't get it, if you keep coming, that's what I tell my class. Repetition is key. You know, even when you see a new line dance, you can't just sit there and watch it. You have to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? You have to get up and do it. because I can watch you dance all day long, but if I don't get up and do it, I'm not going to get it. I don't grasp it as well. So I'm a visual person. I don't know about you. Are you visual as far as dancing, or can you see it and just do it?
I can see it and just do it.
Okay.
I'm a dancer.
Yeah.
I've been a dancer since age 5, so it's kind of in me.
Okay. I always laugh because when I was a little girl, my mother used to say, "Would you sit down somewhere?" Because I was always dancing around the house, and everywhere we went, we in the grocery store, I'm dancing up the aisles, you know. My mother used to say, "You don't want nothing, don't touch nothing, don't," you know. We had a lot of don'ts. So I just danced. Then she tell me, "Don't dance." So it was like, oh my God. So I understand. So co-host, do you have a question for Nicole?
Well, Nicole, one of the things that I would like to know is, how do you manage all of these groups? I'm like, whoa.
Well, it really isn't a lot to manage because the majority of them are just relationships. So I was early on. I've always been a free spirit. So for me, like getting in a group where you have a structure and officers and all of that stuff is kind of what I stayed away from. So Motown Hustlers is really, really easy. It's like a Thursday class, and we've all been knowing each other for so long. So it feels like getting together with family. Ground Park is my family. So whatever I do, we typically all do it together. So that's really, really easy. Dance Nation was actually my first venture, I would say, where we, formed a collective group to kind of do some things in the line dance community. And to me, that was even easy because the members of that group are similar to family too. So maybe for me, I thrive in those areas where there's familiarity, relationship, and so therefore it's really not hard. Now when you cross over to events, that's a different monster. That's when you look at the group dynamic. It's pretty easy because all of those people, like, I love like family and my girl Park, they are my family. So
okay.
Nice. Now, one of the things that was always funny to me is once I started really getting into line dancing, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, this region call it line dancing. Over here, they call it the slide. And the first time I saw, hustlers. And I'm like,
hustling.
And I had, it was a group of older, more mature ladies. And they had on their shirt, "We love to hustle." And so when I read that, I was like, okay, when I get grown, I'm going to have that same attitude, right? And so, once we went into the event, I saw them there, and then it kind of like light bulbs started going off. I'm like, oh, that's what they call it up there. Yes, okay. But that always kind of interests me, how people kind of identify the line dance world.
Right. Well, it's also interesting because as you alluded to it, we call it hustle here. So as I've started to travel, I've now adopted using more of urban line dance more regularly than I would hustle now. Because as soon as last night, I was actually having this conversation. A friend of mine was here and she was like, "So is hustle line dance?" And it's just like, yeah, it's just what we call it from a regional perspective. But I do typically refer line dancing now, but whenever I post my videos on YouTube of dances, I'll put the name of the dance and then I'll put hustle line dance, but people think hustle is a part of the name of the dance itself, and it's not.
Okay,
it's just how we refer to it, but it's just regional. It's taking some getting used to, though.
Yeah, I think the same thing happened with stepping too, because I know Chicago stepping, but then we was talking to Alvina last week, and she was giving us all these other type of names: 2 steps, hand dancing, and this, that, and the other. It was just like 8 count step, and I was like, 8 count step, is that the same as a regular step? So.
Oh yeah, 8 versus 6. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that was confusing in itself. So I want to say, Cole. All right. First of all, thank you once again. I said it the first time, but I want to say it again in public because I want people to know the love is real. All right.
Yeah.
And one thing I appreciate this opportunity because it made me go on to the Urban Line Dance Connection website, which to my understanding, you created that for us, which we want to thank you for that truly. Because you say you HR, but I read that you was in IT as well too. You know, so you know how to do all this. Qween Sheila, we might need to get with her to help us get this system thing right, so we won't have no echoes and stuff like that. she got that down packed fully. Yeah, we might not understand her language, but she got it. So just reading, and then one thing I noticed is that one thing I thought this was funny because you had interviews that you added on there for the people. First of all, we need to update that because we got a lot of new people in the game now that we need to get to know. So just want to tip on that. And then, so the question was, one, who was doing your interview? Because they were asking these questions and you was answering. I hope you weren't interviewing yourself when you was answering those questions. But the question I wanted to ask you, being the person that you are, how do you respond to people who want you to do their dance? Because I know you hear this a lot, but most people probably refer you as a heavy hitter in the game. And because of that, they feel like you have some level of influence on bringing more attention to them. So one, have you had people reach out to you to do their dances so they can kind of get the limelight as well? And if you did not like it, or you weren't feeling it, or the music or whatever like that, how did you handle those instances, those situations?
Good question.
Yes, that's a very good question. Let me think about how I kind of approach this answer. I've never had anyone like directly say, "Here's my dance, please teach it. Here's my music, please teach it in your class." Although I have heard of instances where that occurs. But for me, it's more or less the inbox sharing, the posting on, your timeline sharing and things like that. And to be honest, I don't engage. And I don't engage for two reasons. Number one, you use that terminology, heavy hitter, and I realized I'm on video when I rolled my eyes because people that know me really well know that term just I understand it, and I have learned to embrace what it means. I just don't like it because to me, I'm no heavier or no better or, more established or whatever than the next person. Like, I just want to dance. Right. But when you are seen in that light, it's a very delicate situation to not seem like you're dismissive or you're not interested or you're too big for the dance that's been shared with you. So I just don't engage and I don't respond. Now, if someone specifically says, "Do you like this or will you?" I'm just an honest person. Okay. And it may be, it's a great dance. I don't think my class would probably like it very much. Or, there's been times when I've tried, to show a dance and perhaps it didn't quite come over very well. So you'll show a dance, you'll be like, anyone want to come out and learn it? If no one comes out and learn it, that kind of speaks for itself as well. So there are other people who are more direct and more assertive in their responses. I'm just not like that. I'm very you probably find this hard to believe, but I'm pretty quiet. Yes. I'm extremely humble. And I try to stay in my lane and stay out of other people's lanes because I see a lot of other people trying to drive in those lanes already. Mm-hmm. Okay.
I want to talk real quick, jump in about some of the captions that we have or the chat. Kevin Thompson says, "Sup, Marquise, just checking in to see what's going on." And then Dolores Jenkins said, "Hi, Nicole." And hi, Angela Dolores. Brown said, "My sister's keeper is still one I am practicing." And Angela said, "Was just doing surrender." Is one of yours. And Angela also said, "Love Nicole's dances." And Nancy said, with Denton Alicia, "I'm South Line Steppers instructor. I need tips on good videotaping." So that was one of the chats that was put in. I'm trying to go back to the others, but right now my computer don't want to let me go down there. So
okay.
Can y'all see any others that I missed?
No, not right now. Nicole, how often do you, being that COVID, it was kind of like on the down, seemed like Delta is trying to bring it back up, but how often do you travel?
Wow. So one of the things I probably didn't mention in my intro is that I've been playing softball since 8. So I actually played college ball when I was at Florida A&M University softball. So that's travel. So if I looked at softball travel and line dance travel together pre-COVID, I probably was at home one weekend out of a month.
Wow. Okay. Now you playing softball and probably a million other things. And you manage the line dance groups. I mean, Nicole, how you doing?
It's hard. I think that's why I keep line dancing light for me, because it's a hobby. And like I said, like I started at 5 as a ballet dancer. I actually taught ballet and tap when I was kind of matriculating through school, etc. But I keep line dancing light because it should be a hobby, and you know, not to criticize anyone that takes it more serious than that. I do understand for some it's like a way of life, and for some people it's what they make a living doing, and I respect that wholeheartedly. Just for me, it's a hobby. I love music. I love to dance, so I keep that light. Softball was my first love. Both of my parents were players, so me doing that and playing through college, that's like an outlet. So neither one of those are really hard. But when it comes event time, that's when I really want to pull my hair out. Because actually, Marquise, you were right. I've been at Ford 28 years, and 25 of those years are spent in IT. I just took a new job around diversity and inclusion in HR just the last 3 years at Ford. But you're right, my background is an IT background. But now that's when I want to pull my hair out, when it's time to plan and execute and deliver on the event. Until then,
it's a breeze.
It is.
That's nice. That's nice.
Somebody still has an echo. One of you co-hosts. Can y'all hear it? Okay, it's gone now. Go ahead.
So it's just, for me, it's like is this kind of like your getaway?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay.
It is.
I want to ask something, Nicole. What when you're on the dance floor and you're teaching, you have someone who's brand new, and they say to you, Nicole, is this a 4-wall dance or 2-wall dance? Or they ask you a question that you know they did not know before they came to your class, and they learned from you. How does that make you feel?
Pretty good. It's rewarding. Just anytime, to me, I found anytime that someone recognizes something you've done for, say, the community, or you've done for them, or you're doing for line dance, to me, it's a pride. It's a sense of pride to do that. Although I think some of my friends could probably tell some stories. I typically stay in the advanced room when it comes to teaching at events. So therefore, you enter the door, you already know what you've signed up for.
Okay, we have
I know my lane. I stay in my lane.
You know your lane. Okay, we have a question from Rara. She said, "What would you consider the advantages and disadvantages of being involved in the line dance industry?"
The advantages are, oh my God, they're numerous. I mean, you could talk about it from a health perspective. That's your physical health. That's your mental health. You could talk about it from like enrichment, you know, the friends that I've made and the connections I've made from a people standpoint in line dance. Those people are close to me as family. Like there's a core group, you know, like here in the city that we stay connected. Just like last night, we were doing game night and we had some heavy rain, and rain came through my sliding glass door all the way into the carpet. And immediately it was my family, Lewis, Curtis, Bridget, Yanetta, they all because I recently had surgery, so I can't lift anything right now, but they all were like cleaning my carpet. Curtis was outside with Daryl, scooping water, bailing water. So it's like it's the love and the connections that it brings to you. You know, it just it's immeasurable. Really, it's priceless. And then, you know, it's exercise. It's exercise, and then it, you know, exercises that brain memory as well, that keeps them, you know, us longevity and keeps us young longer. Disadvantages, to be honest, I don't think there really are any disadvantages. I think people bring things to the line dance community that people see as a disadvantage. So when you aren't respectful, or when you're trying to police the community and there's no police or sheriff or anybody that's been deputized as a sheriff or as a police officer in the line dance community, when there's riffs about music, you know, I got this music first and I got this music second, when there's things like that. So I think that people bring things sometimes to the community that where I think some of those, what people will say, oh my God, it's too much drama, so I don't even want line dance anymore. It's so much drama. No. Okay. There's no drama in line dancing. It's people. It's people interactions. Yes. And if we all led with respect, just that one word, respect. It could be respect on the dance floor. It could just be respect of others, respecting your tone, respect with how you communicate, just whatever that is. If we all could lead with that, I think everyone would be so much happier. Right. And that's what I lead with, and that's why I don't experience any of it.
Okay.
So, question.
Go ahead, Marquis.
I was gonna touch. I'm glad you brought that up. That's one of my many questions I have for you, Nicole. With then, you know, I know during when we was in COVID was, there was pros and cons of COVID. It was a place to time to relax and escape, but COVID also created an opportunity to express how you really feel in those moments and times. And since we were all online, we was able to watch everything. So, and I'm sure this question been posed on many occasions about the unwritten rules of line dancing as far as the community goes and stuff like that. And, you know, I know you mentioned like there's no one to really enforce and this, that, and the other. And that's facts, that like there's not one person. But even though we want to say that, it still communicates. The community, you know what I mean? When it comes from making a dance that's touching a classic, the community speaks and says, that's no fly, period. You know what I mean? And that's just that. So I guess the question going to come around is saying is, how do you feel about these unwritten rules that are in the community? Because they do exist and we can't deny that they don't exist, but your take on it, because I think the people who really feel it the most are the newbies that come into the culture and not know, you know, what is what in a sense. And some people even ask, should we write them down so people know in the beginning and this, that, and the other? But then you officiating someone, you know what I mean, to say this is how things go. So what would you say your take on it?
Yeah, actually, it's a tough conversation because you can see both sides of it. So and somebody like me, I've been dancing since the late 90s. So you're talking about probably, I'm looking over because I look at my calendar on my computer. You're talking about like 20 plus years, maybe close to 23, 24, something like that. And there are, I mean, you're right. There are unwritten rules, but what I try to encourage people to do, and I may not be vocal relative to commenting on a post, but I've been known to inbox and text. Because like a lot of times with those classics, and that's a great question, the dance floor will handle a lot of things for people. So I can't believe you made a dance to that, and so it's a classic, and you can't touch it. And if you go to the normal events that we all go to, those of us who travel, and that song comes on, the dance floor will speak.
I agree.
Okay.
So you don't have to tell the group that created the other line dance, The Best of Me, or like the other, I think it's I know Pootie's music. I can't think of the dance right now, but in the circles that we travel in, if you go to a UC Awards or a NOLA Bayou Bash or any, Parkside, or we dancing over here weekend, Southside, ATL Jams, like a lot of those places that us from an urban line dance community travel in, the dance floor handles a lot of things for us that we don't necessarily need to address. Because we may never see some of these individuals, right? And like, why do we get so upset? We may, like, some of these people I've never seen and I probably will never see. So for me, it's just like, But I do think that there's validity in any walk of life. If you pledge a fraternity or a sorority, which I am, I'm a member of a sorority. But when you do that, you come in and you learn your history. That's the first thing you do before you can even become a member, right?
Okay. Yeah.
From a softball perspective, I learned a lot from my parents playing and seeing how they, how teams are managed, et cetera. So I do think that there's a lot of validity on the side of, like, when you enter or coming into something or coming into a community, I do think that there's a piece of that where kind of learn a little bit about, where it's come from. What are some things you may not know? You know what I'm saying? So there is some research I think that needs to happen. But at the end of the day, if you turn on music, regardless of where you are in the country, you can't stop anyone from dancing.
I agree.
That's so true. One thing, Kevin Thompson, I know, Kevin Thompson said, I think one of the disadvantages, especially being new to the line dance community, is there too many new dances being created. He said, that's just my opinion. It's hard to keep up. And I agree with you, Kevin. It definitely is hard. It's a new dance like every day, just about, But like you said, Nicole, the dance floor will tell you about that dance, that new dance that's out, or, whoever created it or whatever the case may be. The dance floor will tell you. My biggest thing with my class, I teach seniors, mostly seniors. And my seniors don't want to hear the MF and the SOB and all that other stuff. They don't want to hear that. I know that. Right. And so when I create a dance, the first thing I want to do, or if I hear a dance like somebody created that I want to teach, first thing I want to do is listen to the words. Listen to the words. Like I like blurred lines. I don't know who created it. I love the dance, but it's one word in there. I never play blurred lines everywhere I go because it's that one curse word that nobody will hear no other word in the song, but they'll hear that one curse word, and that's just the dance I like. But, you got to be careful. So that's one thing that I've noticed. You, as an instructor or choreographer or whatever the case may be, you have to listen to the words of the song or find a clean version, right, Marquise?
Yes. Can we clarify new dances though? Because I hear people say, and thank you, Kev, for even mentioning that. And to a certain extent, I do agree. But I also want to be clear on the actual question or the statement in itself is that, while we get tired of seeing so many new dances, I don't think that's what we're really tired of seeing. I think for me, and I'm going to speak for myself, what I'm probably a little bit, in order to seeing over time is the lack of someone's purpose and passion of creativity or just true love, like their motives. I'm tired of seeing the wrong motive behind these new dances that come out. Because on one side, you can be inspired and you're just letting go of your freedom and love and everything. And I may not like the dance, but just the fact of where it came from, I appreciate it. Right. But on the other side, you got a different motive where I'm trying to get attention. I'm trying to get people to do my dance. I'm trying to get it to circulate and this, that, and the other. That's what I'm more so tired of, if anything else. But I just wanted to clarify as far as creating these mini dances with no love and no, good motive behind it is what probably the annoying part of it all together. Because like you said, we can't stop people from doing what they're doing. But if they're doing it with a legitimate reason, I think, you can't help but respect it. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, what you think, Cole?
I have I've had this conversation a lot, this whole too many new dances. And unfortunately, it's just the evolution of time in line dance. So there used to be a time when I started dancing, the only way to learn a dance was at a workshop at an event. And at that time, there weren't a lot of events. Like United We Dance was the largest event that was that would happen, and that would probably be your opportunity to learn dances on Friday and Saturday, which is 2 days. It started on Thursday, but essentially the only way you would learn something is if you went to a workshop. Fast forward with social media and the explosion of the internet, unfortunately, we've experienced growth that just is so large that you can't keep up. And to be honest, I don't try to keep up. That's just my personal opinion. You know, me as an instructor and as a choreographer, like I've always been one, like if a song hits me and I create something, that's great. But I'm just like, oh my God, like it's been 3 months and I don't have a dance. I got to do a dance. Like, no, that doesn't, right. It's definitely the song. If I come across a song, it's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling this one, you know, let me think about something. But again, the dance floor will tell you what dances penetrate and what dances don't. And then there's a risk on the other side that I think choreographers need to think about. You can put out 10 dances, just to use 10 as a number. But I hope your expectation is not you're going to see all 10 of those dances done.
Right.
And if that's what your expectations are, you have the wrong expectation, because that's not going to happen. Because Chris Blues is like awesome at telling you in an hour, you got 3 minutes and 60 seconds, which means you've got 20 dances that you could get done in an hour, right? 20 times 3, we look at how long it is. And if you say 20 in an hour and you times that times 5 in a party, you can probably only get to 80 dances. I know it's right. The math is 100. But anyway, but when you look at what box you're trying to fit in, it's the risk that you take as a choreographer to release so many dances because they're not all going to be received, right? But then there's also a school of thought that would say, depending on where you are in the country, you may see all 10, right? And so I think that perhaps there's this self-imposed pressure to learn everything that's new. I don't have that. I have no interest. And I also know that everything I create, I may not see, because the week before me, there were 4 or 5 other things that could have come out and have caught in somebody's eye, right? And so it's just the nature of where we are, and it's the nature of social media. And to be honest, it just is what it is. But I would just tell people, learn what moves you. Like, keep it about joy. Keep it about that joy.
Yeah.
Right. And that will remove a lot of that pressure.
Yeah, I was going to go through some more chats. We have Tommy Hall said, all great comments. I'm glad I tuned in. Jones Tawana says, I love this. Information is key. Denton Elisha says, I agree with all these new dances. And Reba Tillman Huff says, I agree. Angela Brown says, true. It's true. So we have a lot of good comments coming in from everyone who's online. They're just coming in really good. Trying to see if I missed anybody. We did that one. Okay. So
I do want to say one more thing.
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Let me just close it with a final thought, and maybe this is, maybe it could be considered advice, which typically I don't do, because I typically keep my mouth shut. But I think choreographers should know when they put something out that hits with the community, it's gonna hit. It doesn't need to go in each line dance group that you're a member of. It doesn't need to go on everyone's timeline that you know, and it doesn't need to go into everyone's inbox that you know. Like TNT, it was a dance. TNT was a perfect example of this. I don't think that the choreographers at the time were really well known. The dance kind of came out of like, whoa, but it was fast and it was catchy and everybody jumped on it and it was a fun dance to do. And then I know for some, right, the UC Awards and walking home with that prize from the UC Awards, they ended up winning a UC award for that dance the following January. But to me, that was like, it came out of nowhere. It stuck, it caught, and it just went. And so when you look at that, don't do yourself a disservice by trying to over push and over advertise because you want to see your dances, across the country, or your dances on the floor. When it's good, the dance floor and the community will let you know. And then sometimes some do fall under the radar, but they don't stay there long. They don't stay there long. They're going to resurface, so don't worry.
Right. You know what? It's like a virus. I want it to be like kind of like a COVID. If the dance is good, then this one is going to tell that one, and that one's going to tell the other one. Right, Monkey? I mean, everybody's going to tell everybody, and that's how it goes. But if it's just a dance that somebody created and they really like it, hey, I created my favorite dance. I blame you, Lettucey. Okay, maybe that's not everybody's artist. I love the dance, and you know what? I created it in like 2015, and in 2025, I'm gonna still be posting it. That's just me, because I feel like it's a great dance. I love the song. I love the dance. We love doing it, so I keep posting it. But I'm not gonna put it on everybody's page. Don't get me wrong. So on my page, I will keep pushing it because I like it.
I think, because I'm glad you said that, Cole. Because honestly, that's a understanding or some wisdom that some of the new beginners that come into the culture would need to know. Because like I was that person when I first walked in, was sitting on 50 pages. I was getting in pages that wouldn't even have anything to do with line dances, and I was putting it on there. You know what I'm saying? And that was just, the whole intent behind it. But as continuing in and learning and listening and paying attention, one thing I learned, because we had some success with some dances, is that you just never really know which one is going to really take off. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Unless your name is Coley Cole. But the point is that you just never really know which dance is going to take off.
I even have dances. I'm just like, oh man, nobody really liked that, huh?
They just didn't know it was you. That's all it was, Cole. You really wait till you find out it was you behind it.
So there's some of my own. I'm just like, man, I wish I could do that more. Only because for me, it's all about the music. But it happens to all of us.
I agree.
It does.
So,
it does.
Question. All right. So I like this question. I was thinking about it, and I like the idea about it. All right. So you guys, and Sweet Lou, over that NOLA Battle Bash. First of all, I'm kind of mad because I've seen you way before I heard about it, and I just heard about it maybe year before last or whatever. And I realized in order for you to find out about it, if it's not from a mutual friend, you had to be a part of a group that really you don't advertise at the same time too. So, what got you the way you guys structure it now, which I think is awesome, is a non-traditional way of an event. You get away from the workshops, you give the people an opportunity to truly experience the city and everything else. And to my understanding from word of mouth, and you can correct if it's accurate or not, you hate workshops or you're tired of workshops or something like that along those lines. Okay, well, thank you. Eliminate that, delete it. But what motivate or encourage or inspired the thought of creating the event the way you guys set it up to the point where now people are selling it out before you even put it out?
Listen, no one could have ever told me that the event, I think it was 2018, when it sold out in like 3 minutes or 3.5. It was something crazy. No one could have told me that that would have been the case. So just a little bit of background on that. So at the time, prior to 2012, 12, 14, 16, 18, yes. 2012 was the first one. Prior to 2012, there really wasn't a lot of line dancing going on in New Orleans that was known nationally. So Lewis is from NOLA. He's a NOLA boy, so that's his hometown. Okay. He had been heavily involved in United We Dance and everything we do here in the Midwest, and he had a vision of taking line dance to his home city. So the whole NOLA Bayou Bash was all driven on Lewis wanting to take people to see his city and enjoy Nolans, as he says it. All right, I probably can't say it like he says it, but to enjoy New Orleans. And so for him, he had a lot of pride in where he grew up and where he went to school and all of that stuff. And so that event was designed for participants or attendees to experience the city. So all of the food was New Orleans cuisine. The parades were traditional parades that they do from, as far as the New Orleans culture. So all of it was all about introducing the line dance community that at the time were mainly around Midwest, East Coast, and some in the South, but taking it a little bit more west to his city. And I think I just replied to Katrina. She put a question in Universal Line Dance about, how many people do you need, right? And it's really all about the experience. And so for me, I would say, I think Lewis and I's focus were all on the experience. Everything was about the experience. It wasn't about how many people we could get there, how much money we could make, like anything insurmountable. It was all about the experience. What can we do to make the experience better? So the first year we didn't have a parade. MBB2 was the first time we had a parade. Lewis has connections. We shut down Canal Street, which was like, they were like, how did you all do that? I'm like, Lewis made it happen. Like, Lewis is the brains, right? So for us, I just think, and we were both humbled by, I just really feel like we gave people an experience that they had never gotten before from it being non-traditional. And, we paid attention to like the necklaces. So those were like NOLA driven. So everything had a special touch to it.
Right.
And I think humbly and gratefully, we created a great brand. And now, 2022, like, we're just like, we're going to find large enough venues. We don't have to turn anyone away.
So, okay. And I want to say that was that the first time you guys did that? Because I think, like I said, I called it, all right, so Be Right, Barbara Wright, shout out to Barbara Wright and everything. She put me on the information, right? And then when I looked at it, I was like, man, you crazy? You serious? And then I looked at it again, it was sold out. So, but what I did watch and I observed from that event, after the event, one of the most amazing things that I've ever witnessed was that you requested feedback for people's experiences. Then not only that, after you got the feedback, you got your IT stuff going on, and you start, putting the percentage of where most of the focus was in this area and where the smallest focus on in this area. Then you responded to everyone. Like that was ridiculous. And I wanted to, is that you only did that one time, or is that just something you just felt like it's best to do? Oh my gosh.
We just did that the last time.
Okay.
Because over time you start to hear grumblings from people, right? So you get to hear, oh, we don't like not having workshops. So you start to hear some of the noise in the ecosystem. Mm-hmm. So that was why we did the survey, to kind of understand like what were people thinking, what was
turn your mic down, Marquise, please.
And like where people were coming from. So we genuinely wanted to understand where the customer base was coming, but we also wanted to stay true to what the event, our vision for the event. So that was one because I actually got feedback. Well, why did you ask us our opinion if you weren't going to do anything about it? No. We are going to take some actions to improve certain areas based on the feedback, but no survey implies we're going to take your feedback and change everything you said, right? And so we wanted to understand, was it like?
I'm sorry, Zandra, is it your mic that's giving the feedback? It's some feedback.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Okay, so we truly wanted the feedback, and we wanted to understand, was it this pocket or was it a huge pocket? But also say, this is our vision, and we understand if you may choose to not patronize the event again because it's not aligned with your expectations for an event. So number one, it was kind of validate what we were hearing. And then I think it was great to get the feedback because there were some areas we didn't realize we needed to improve on. And we've got things in place to improve on for 2022, but it was also an opportunity for us to communicate with those that want to patronize and attend so that they kind of understood what it would be so that they would know, where we were going with that. So just being upfront.
Awesome.
Okay. Thank you. But we have 11 minutes left, and we have to move on. This has been so great. I mean, the answers, the feedback. Our viewers have put on some really nice comments that your event was epic. Lou and Charles do a magnificent job at giving people that NOLA experience. So we have some very good comments from our audience. But we have to move on, unfortunately, so we can get through the rest of our program. I have a question, Nicole. If you could take your team or your teams with an S and teach anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Wow. To me, it would be somewhere we've never been before. So that was one of the reasons I was like eager to go to Denver. Because I had never been to Denver ever in my life, surprisingly, as much travel as I do. And so I was like, yes, when I when Kimmy Kim came to say, hey, would you come? Like, yes. I'm like, let's go somewhere else. So for me, I would like to tap into those states that we have yet to tap into, where we can bring more line dancers into the community and continue to see the growth. Although I know growth means all those other things that come along with growth. But to me, it's all about building connections, building growth, and building that sense of community and enjoying something that we all love.
Nicole, did I hear you say Tampa, Florida next year on the cruise? That's what I thought I heard you say. I know you said you've been in Tampa a long time. You have family down here, all that good stuff. That's what I thought I heard you say. You know what? My ears is really good now. I thought I heard that.
No. I'm coming that way. I'm coming that way for sure.
Okay, we love to have you. Unfortunately, we want to just go into our announcements now. We have the 2021 Annual Urban Dance Symposium this year in Tampa, Florida. Unfortunately, it's sold out. And it's not till October 1st, 2nd, 3rd, but we have sold out. We have maximized the seating that we can have at the location. I'm like you, next year we have a big place that we're going to be on a cruise ship. We're going to dance on water next year. So it's going to be awesome. Then I want to talk about, if you're watching on the screen, we going to put up our, as soon as I get to it, we're going to put up how you can give to Let's Talk Soul Line Dance. $2, $1, $5, whatever you want to give to keep this podcast going. We appreciate it. It's a platform for line dancers, line dance instructors, and recording artists. We've had great recording artists, like we have a great line dance instructor on with us today, and we want to keep going. Let's talk soul line dance. So now we're going to go to our shout outs, because I don't have any other announcements that I know of. We're going to go to our shout outs. Nicole, would you like to shout out to some of your peeps before we leave?
Sure. This is always dangerous because you always forget somebody. But I just do want to give a shout out to my Motown Hustlers family, to Alice for transitioning that class, to Lewis and myself, and Riri, Eleanor. We've been together for a long time. Of course, Mo Ground Park, Ali and Chris, love them to death. Dance Nation, my other group, Yvonne, Bridget, Curtis, Pam. I could go Paige, Yanetta, Markia, Tony. Like I could go down the whole list, but just they know who they are and they know who I hold dear, and they know that they love them. So I know I'm safe that I didn't say everyone's name that I probably wanted to say.
Okay, but thank you. Mark, you have a shout out?
Yeah. All right. So first and foremost, thank you, Qween Sheila, for even creating this platform. Truly. We gratefully appreciate this and need it as well, because it's a voice that that needs to be heard throughout the community, so we can kind of align ourselves as one continuously, without confusion. I thank you. I want to shout out to the followers, the people that came on, comment, those who stayed tuned in throughout this time. We truly appreciate your voice matter, and we ask that y'all continue to stay supportive in it, because definitely this is something that's needed for the community, so we can continue to encourage and create and keep this platform going. So definitely that. Also, Cole, definitely I want to send a shout out to you as well. One, not only for sacrificing your time, allowing you to be here, but I'm gonna say this is that I've never been sick before in my life or experienced any type of illness in my life, but just reading how you were handling and managing, you know, the cancer and everything else, and how you kind of still kept us in tune with it was very inspiring and motivating. You know what I mean? Than anything that I can even imagine. Because you and, you know, a few other people, like, you know, close friend, I'm gonna mention her name, but she knows who she is, very inspiring to me. And I thank you for your strength for exemplifying that, even in the social media world, like for real, you know what I mean? And that's tough. But you were willing to be transparent in the midst of it all. Yeah. And if I don't see anything else, I felt that for the fullest. So you definitely have my love, support, prayers, and everything for your strength and all of it, man, for real. So thank you.
Blessings.
No,
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Miss Sandra, you have shout outs for us?
No, well, I just would like to just shout out to the new line dance teams that we have out there, but also to Miss Nicole, her motto: if you don't get it this week, just come on back. Because you know what? I use the same thing in my class. I tell them repetition is key. But if you don't get it this week, come back and see me next week. I love it.
Yes. Yeah. And I want to give a shout out to the A-Team and to MGM line dancers out of Montgomery and the A-Team out of Gibsonton, Florida, and most definitely to the Line Dance Connection of Tampa. Whoop, whoop. Love y'all. Nicole, we thank you so much for being our guest today. And I have to do a tip to remember, line dance etiquette. And the one I have this week is don't pass out event flyers, dance schedules, or videotape someone else's class or event without getting permission to do so first. That's one of the line dance etiquettes. You ever been to your classes? You trying to teach and somebody in there passing out flyers and stuff like that. That is so rude, especially if you didn't ask for permission. And then there's a time for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's a time to do everything. Like the word says, it's a time to laugh, cry. You know, it's a time to do everything and ask for permission before you just go in somebody's class and pass out flyers. And one other thing, anyone who wants to call in to answer the trivia question, I have cash that I'm going to give via Cashapp. The trivia question is, how long? I mean, wait a minute. Where did Nicole go to school? And the phone number is on the screen: 813-407-1216. On the screen, you want to call in. I'm giving away some money today. So 813-407-1216. And I forgot. Go ahead, Don. You want to say something?
Oh, Queen, I was just going to just try to help our viewers out a little bit. Is that elementary? Is that high school? Are you talking about college, or are you talking about grad? Tell which one. Which one?
Okay, I was talking about college, and Melva Symmes answered the question. She said Florida A&M, right? Real quick. All right, Melva. Okay, we have a caller coming in from Dearborn, Michigan. Let's see. Hello, caller. Are you calling in to answer the trivia question? Okay, but we already have the answer from Melva Symmes, but thank you.
Melva cheated.
You, sorry.
Melva cheated.
No, Melva said she was getting it in.
She related something.
Thank you, Angela.
Okay, we
That's
got a call
right.
from Detroit. We got Miss Mitchell from Detroit. Thank you so much. And stay tuned. I do have another trivia question, okay?
Hey, Queen, somebody asked me a question. Hey, Queen, someone asked me a question. They said,
okay,
Cole, you had mentioned a dance that took place. I think you said TNT, and then it won an award in January. What was the name of that dance again?
I think it was TNT. I think it's called TNT.
Okay.
Latanya Haig says, I love the line dance community and all of the work everyone puts in. This is my safe place for a peace of mind. So that was a good statement. C. St. Vic say, bravo to you all. And of course, Ms. Melva, when we get off, you give me a call. And Angela Brown said, "We love you, Nicole." No, they're all coming in from everywhere. Yeah, it's been great. I did say the announcement that I had. I forgot to tell you. 2022 annual Urban Dance Symposium. We're going to dance on water. We're leaving out of Miami, Florida. We have a cruise, and I promise you, our cruise is $300 less that Carnival is advertising it for right now. We're leaving October 17th through the 22nd, and it's going to be a grand time. So those of you who want to dance on water with us like Peter did, come on out and hit us up, 813-407-1216. The number's on the screen, so I can send you some information about it, see if you're interested. So we want to say thank you to our guest today, Ms. Nicole Poyntz.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for the invitation.
It's been a great pleasure to meet you. Now, and when I see you, I'll know who you are. I know the face now. I heard so much about you and have done some of your dances, but I had never met you in person. And I thank you for coming on, being our guest today. I want to thank my co-host. Yes, thank you. Thank my co-hosts, Marquise Christopher and Zandra Hill-Costin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You all are great. If there's anything else, let's have closing remarks by Nicole.
Me, keep it simple, keep dancing, and respect.
Praise God. All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Zandra, closing remarks.
I think she summed it all up. Awesome.
Okay.
Keep it simple. Yes.
Keep it simple. Yes. There you go. Marquise, closing remarks.
I'm gonna just pretty much repeat the thing what Nicole said early on, and kind of use my own wording, but I got it from you. You inspired it. At the end of the day, the community is going to speak regardless, so it's no reason for us to continue to harp on the negativity or harp on any small thing, because once the community speak, that's it. So we don't have to say anything. We don't have to attack. We don't have to approach anybody. Just continue to show the love, welcoming and approaching everybody else, and the community to show the same.
Okay, and I have closing remarks for you, Nicole. A woman has strength that amazes men. She can handle trouble and carry heavy burdens. She holds happiness, love, and opinion. She smiles when she feels like screaming. She sings when she feels like crying, cries when she's happy, and laughs when she's afraid. Her love is unconditional. There's only one thing wrong with her. She sometimes forgets what she's worth. And we want you to know you are worth millions to us. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. My mom always says, love is no good unless you give it away. So here's some of mine. You got to catch it, Nicole. You got to catch it. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all. Thank you to our guests that tuned in today via online, and those that called in. We love you. Have a blessed one, and we'll see you next Sunday. Same time, same bat station. All right. Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm trying to get mine out. Okay. There we go. And in stream.